Welcome to Thieves' Cant, a tabletop gaming podcast, with your hosts, Jeremy Shane and Chris White.
And welcome in, welcome back. It is Thieves' Cant, Saturday, August 9th. We live.
We're back. Thought you got rid of us, didn't you?
Much like the enduring cockroach, we have scuttled from beneath the wreckage.
Yeah, we have.
No. We said we'd be out for a brief hiatus. We were, and we have returned. In the month of August, it was July when last we recorded. And now here we are. Summer is rapidly coming to a close. And I hate to see summer end, but it does excite me because that means football season is just around the corner.
Yes.
Which brings me great joy.
Yes.
You really hurt my feelings when you rejected my outreach. I sent a message. I said, hey, I'm thinking about starting up a really casual, like friends and family fantasy football league. I'd love for you to be a part of it. And your very quick, rapid response was, no, thanks.
Well, let me explain that. No.
What if I asked you to play professional football general manager, the role-playing game?
That's pretty tempting. You know what would inspire me to engage in some fantasy football? It seems like every time I'm playing Helldivers, I really get a hankering for some fantasy football.
Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for following at Thieves Can't Cast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, all the places. If you want to get in touch, remember you can email thievescantcast@gmail.com. And hey, we've got a bit of an update to share. Thieves Cant is preparing to unveil a new show.
That's right.
New show, who dis?
That's right. It's what we've been busy doing. It's going to be more of a focused effort, whereas the podcast is going to stay general. We're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it, more.
All of this great content is going nowhere.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Do not fear, good people. This is here to stay. But yeah, the new show, we're gonna dig into topics, into games, more than we can in the current format. And hopefully it'll be entertaining and informative.
Yeah, so our goal is this upcoming Wednesday, and then every Wednesday thereafter, to release Thieves Cant Capers. And our first series in Capers is going to be a look at MCDM's recently released Draw Steel. Very excited about this. We've both got our hands on the PDF, and we're going to be digging through bit by bit, and we invite you to read along with us as we try to understand the offerings there, break down the rules, see what it's all about, and see if it delivers upon the promises that it puts out there.
Yeah, it's a game that's a lot of people are excited about. A lot of those people have already purchased it, but a lot of people may be considering a purchase. So hopefully it'll help you make that decision.
Yeah, so it'll be a Draw Steel deep dive, a series of those coming soon. Thieves Cant Capers. Hey, in today's show, we're going to check out the winners list from this year's ENnie Awards. That's always exciting. D&D gets a new beer, and in our crowdfunding spotlight, we take a look at a couple of new options for Draw Steel. But first, it is the Thieves Cant question of the week. Today we ask, what's the most memorable character death you've witnessed at the table?
That's a good one.
We've all experienced loss at the table in some form or another, right?
That's right.
So we're going to come back around to that. We've got some community input to address that memorable death question of the week. We'll get to it. But first, let's jump into the headline. All right, so Gen Con has come and gone, which means the ENnie Award winners have been named. We're not going to touch on every award. There are too many to list here, but some of your key winners. Land of Eam had a great showing at the ENnie Awards. Exalted Funeral Press's Land of Eam picked up a few golds for Best Game for the core rule book, as well as Best Setting and Best Interior Art. So kind of sweeping the gold in those categories. Land of Eam. What did they describe this as? I think one reviewer called it like Lord of the Rings meets the Muppets.
Interesting.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, the One Ring Moria through the doors of Durin from Free League. That wins the gold in Product of the Year. That's your big one. And gold in Best Adventure Long Form.
Interesting.
So, Free League also, I think they won the fan vote for favorite publisher. I can't remember the actual title of the award, but they had a great showing. Triangle Agency is another big one at the awards. This one from Haunted Table. This is kind of your paranormal, supernatural, investigative game. Very, very Cthulhu-like.
Mm-hmm.
Won the silver for Product of the Year, and it won the gold for Best Rules. I always love these lists. We've said this before. These lists are great resources. They remind me of how many games I've never gotten my eyes on.
Yeah, I'm all of these. Like, I want to know more about them. And there's so many games now. Right. It's hard to keep up.
You'll never read nor play them all. We have no hope.
Right.
Which is a good problem.
Yeah.
Call of Cthulhu, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary. Chaosium is the longest running publisher of tabletop RPG products.
Really?
50 years at it.
Wow.
There are some other big ones that have been around for 50 years, but not under one publisher. So Call of Cthulhu, Cthulhu Ireland from Chaosium, their community content, that wins Best Community Content, the gold for that category. And one more, the Best Adventure in Short Form gold goes to the Dream Shrine. Let me say that again, the Dream Shrine for Old School Essentials.
Always on the lookout for good adventures, well written.
Right.
Oh, that's the best.
Moving on. Roll for Intoxication. There's a new beer coming out from New Holland Brewing Company. It is a D&D beer. What are they calling it? What's the official name here? Dragon's Milk Coconut Rum Barrel Reserve.
Now, who milks the dragon? It's going to be the bard either way. But, yeah, ooh. Dragon's Milk Coconut Rum Barrel Reserve. That's a beer?
It's supposed to be a stout, like a milk stout.
Okay.
All right, so this one's been aged then in a coconut rum barrel, which makes it fancy.
Well, I'm not a prolific drinker, so I didn't know. But I wonder if it tastes good.
Well, I'm willing to try it. It comes out later this month. You can order it online, and select retailers will stock it. You can head to the New Holland website if you want. And apparently this is going to be an extended relationship between the brewer and Hasbro. They've got more releases to come later this fall. I don't know. Maybe an Oktoberfest. They could do something with maybe Ravenloft or...
Yeah, you could milk all sorts of things by then. So
awards and beer, that's pretty much all the news we've got this week. So let's bounce over to crowdfunding, shall we? All right, this week we are spotlighting two new campaigns, both for Draw Steel products, some third-party Draw Steel products. Folks are wasting no time in getting their content to crowdfunding. So first up, we've got Weapons of Legend. This is from Jeff Stevens Games. Weapons of Legend provides Draw Steel directors and heroes with a collection of 50 wondrous weapons that will increase in power along with the hero. They level up, so to speak. So every weapon entry comes with a color image, a brief description, of course, your statistics. You get your information for leveling it up. Pledge levels run from just $7 all the way up to $20, the latter of which does come with a print-on-demand code. So if you want to print on demand, you'll pay a little more, but I think you get a discount code with it.
Okay.
So that campaign is going to run for another 12 days from the time of this recording. So if you're looking for 50 new wondrous weapons for Draw Steel, boom, there you go.
Yeah, that's I like the illustrations for everything and just being able to print that off and hand it to the player.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little more impactful than just here's some stats.
Yep.
Write these down.
Exactly. They say the PDF is complete and it is ready for release right after pledge collection. So once the campaign ends, they collect funds. You get what you pledged for. So it should be a pretty quick turnaround. And, this is great for those folks who have already, run their draw steel content dry. And
Right.
Right. Looking for new. You've got it in spades here. All right. So the second one that we look at, the Kobold Ancestry for draw steel. This is from Pesto Publications. The Kobold Ancestry is a new playable ancestry for draw steel. So you've checked out the various elves that draw steel offers, the dwarves, the draconians, and the humans. All of them just don't quite scratch the itch that you have. Well, maybe this Kobold Ancestry does. Unleash the draconic blood running through your veins to spit elements and innately sense dragons. And as you adventure, unlock more draconic features until ultimately you can transform into a dragon.
Whoa.
That's like every kobold's dream, right?
That is the Kobold glow up right there. Wow.
Pledge levels run from just over $7 all the way up to $100 on this one if you want to go big. And it runs for another 15 days from the time of this recording. Now, here's something kind of cool. We've mentioned both of these campaigns. They're actually part of a cross-collaboration project. So if you back both, you get bonus rewards.
Okay.
All right. So if you want the Kobold Ancestry and the 50 wondrous weapons, the weapons of legend, back them both and get a bonus.
Okay.
Kind of cool. Two different companies just deciding to kind of partner up on some special items.
I don't know if this is a fair question, but for the Kobold Ancestry, pledge levels run from $7 up to $100.
Right.
That's a serious Kobold investment. What are you getting? You get to power up straight to dragon? Somebody milk you once you get to be a dragon? How does that work?
You'll have to delve into those details on your own.
Okay.
Check the link in the show notes. It'll be there for you. Chris, let's head back to that question of the week that we tossed out at the beginning of the show. The most memorable character death you've witnessed at the table. Now, we've got some community input that we want to share and discuss, but off the top of your head, any character deaths from your own experience stand out to you? Your own characters or others?
I remember, I have a tale, but it's a little bit long. It's a little bit involved.
I'm all ears.
Okay. Well, this goes way back into the 90s. So, prehistoric times. We all rode our velociraptors to the gaming session.
Yes.
But this is the tale of Dink. Okay. Dink was a guy we played with. He was kind of wild. But anyway, the situation, long story short, the party found themselves in a volcano, which was the lair of two adamantine dragons, like great worms, right? So, and things went badly. Like, as always, we handled negotiations as poorly as possible. And so the dragons attacked us. And so both of these great worm adamantine dragons used their breath weapon in the same round. And it did an obnoxious amount of damage. I mean, I can't remember, but it was like 1,000 hit points of damage. It was something ridiculous. So obviously, everybody in the party's like, well, I'm going to roll a new character now because this is over. But we had Dink, and he's playing his dwarven cleric or whatever it was, and it gets quiet, and he says, I made my save. I'm still alive. And and we're all like, what? This guy was kind of like, he was the type you had to watch his rolls. Like, we actually bought him like oversized foam dice because he cheated so much. He would lie about what he rolled so much. And so the DM ends up doing something that does like another 1,000 points of damage. And he finally grudgingly has to admit, yes, I'm dead. Okay. Okay. I guess you got me this time. And so he goes outside to smoke, because that's something people did back then too. Right. And when he does, the DM, who you just have to know the guy, but Dink's character's mini, which minis at that time I think were made out of lead and asbestos for the most part, whatever they were.
And crafted with lead.
Yeah, but this mini that he had laying there, the DM just starts snickering, and he picked up a cigarette lighter and lit the mini. and it started like a little candle, like started burning, and it put off this awful stink. I'm pretty sure we all have lung cancer from it, right? But we were laughing so hard. And I know this sounds cruel, but you got to know Dink. And,
Sounds terrible.
and so when he came back in, his miniature was just this smoldering lump on the table. And little smoke, curls of smoke still coming off of it. He was so mad, and rightly so, but he did deserve it. And it was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. So that was probably the most memorable character death I can think of.
My first real D&D character, he made it about 5 minutes. This particular DM, whenever you join the game, you came in as a first level character.
Yeah. You level up fast if you live.
Sure. So I'm a first level character with, a mix of higher level characters. And I went down really quickly. The DM decided to pull some punches a little bit and say, well, your twin brother comes along and you're back. Right. And he just kind of let it slide.
Uh-huh.
But I'll never forget 5 minutes into my very first D&D game, my first character goes down hard and fast.
This was the first character.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to break into.
Way to get started.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what the community had to say about memorable character deaths at the table. Thanks to the folks over on Reddit, both the TTRPG and RPG subreddits. We've got Wee Mad Lloyd weighing in. Wee Mad Lloyd says, the game was paranoia. The premise, you are a clone in Alpha Complex. An insane computer runs everything. Failure to obey the computer is death. Robots are computer emissaries. Failure to obey is death. Using any item above your security clearance is death. Having a mutation, unless registered, is death. The incident, the party was selected to leave Alpha Complex and go to a space station. I got separated from the group and approached by some bots on the station that told me to go with them. The next thing I know, I'm waking up in a dark room with only a light above the gurney I'm on. Looking around, I see a woman looking at me from her gurney. Turns out, I'm looking at a mirror. When I found the rest of the party and identified myself as my male self, I was promptly executed for being a mutant and undergoing unauthorized gender change.
Whoa, that took a turn really fast.
Well, if they had not executed him, they know they're going to get executed.
That's true.
Failure to obey is death. You must obey friend computer.
Yeah, this is a scary scenario, isn't it?
I want to play paranoia so fast.
Yeah. Absolutely. That sounds fun. I mean, not the dying part, but.
You want to hit the next one?
Sure. Infamous Musician 953 says, had a friend of mine save half the planet by crashing a spelljammer into a fortress and making a crater the size of the Death Star on the surface of the planet. Yeah.
Heck yes.
Yeah. The heroic death, the last stand.
Yes.
The self-sacrifice. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
I did follow up with Infamous Musician on this comment, and they said that, that crater is now named after that character.
Nice.
Which is incredible.
Nice. That's awesome.
Can you imagine the cheers that went up at that table?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's great.
Those are the moments.
Absolutely.
All right. Rex Celestis says, Juan had been a faithful servant to a group of vampires in a World of Darkness chronicle I ran in the 90s. Heck yeah, for the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
He was just one of those NPCs that clicked with the group, and he developed a solid 3 dimensions. And when he died in an ambush, we had to stop the session. The players were in tears.
Hey, I get it. I mean, we've all had those situations where characters or NPCs that were just, man, you love them. It's like, we got to save one, I get it.
Right.
And again, that's when these games are so good, when it actually evokes a real emotion.
Yeah. If you've never experienced that at the table, look, I get it.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're not seeing how this could happen, but have you never been moved by a movie that you've watched?
Right.
Have you never been moved by a story that you've read?
Yeah, there's nothing that'll make you get a lump in your throat faster than somebody, especially like a self-sacrifice or it depends on the situation. But when you die a good death, that's pretty awesome.
The next two are both pretty short. Why don't you take both those?
Okay. All right. Alien Heron says, critical tables from Rollmaster.
Yes.
Tripped on a long dead, petrified, invisible turtle. That's all it says. So you died.
You just have to embrace the random table.
That's great. I love it. Okay, now I have to tell another story, and this involves you. It was you. You're one of your characters, right? Wasn't you and another player who made the Minotaur brother?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and they were awesome. I mean, they were both fighters.
Oh, yeah.
I think, like geared up, kitted up.
Frontline.
We were going to steamroll this dungeon because we had the Minotaur brothers.
Yeah.
There, right?
Yeah, just dealing death.
And they ran into the room. What was in the room? Goblins or something? Or
I should remember this.
It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they run in to engage in combat. It's like a scene out of Gladiator, right? And both of you commenced to roll a series of ones.
There were many ones rolled, multiple ones by each of us.
It was incredible. I mean, statistically impossible.
Right.
And
yet we did it.
And the DM was using a critical hits, critical fumble table.
And it was beautiful because the critical hits were amazing. But if you chose to use the critical hits, you were also going to suffer the consequences of critical failures.
Right.
All right. So it's all or nothing.
And you did.
If I remember correctly, we both tripped in the doorway essentially before we even made it fully into the room. And we were just tangled up together, much like we probably were in the womb.
Yeah.
And
right. But this time you had axes, and you were just swinging them like a bunch of maniacs. Like, I remember somebody got their arm cut off. Like, it was wild.
It was not a good situation.
Yeah. So basically, the party made its own hamburger right there in the first room of the dungeon. It was incredible. So that reminds me of this situation, to trip on a long dead, petrified. Why is the turtle invisible?
So it can trip you and kill you.
I love it. That's awesome.
The random table. I love it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Okay, and Jabuki says, my Nightblade climbing / sneaking up a magician's tower while the magician rained spells at the rest of the party, and they distracted him. Okay, it's a good setup.
Yeah, I like it.
He's making his way up. He's climbing up. It says, until I fumbled my stealth. He saw me and threw a fireball, and the crit result was foe is turned into dust, and I blew away in the wind.
Again with the random table.
Wow. A little heartbreaking probably at the moment, but yeah, when you just get obliterated like that, it's classic.
Well, and just imagine watching that as the rest of the party,
right,
relying on this stealth character to make its way up the tower. Your plan is going flawlessly, until all of a sudden it is not.
Yeah, I wonder, was that plan A? Like, was that plan because it's like, okay, we need to switch tactics real quick because the Nightblade is no more.
Our plan is literally dust.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's brutal. Moving on, Sunday Side says, IGM Heart, The City Beneath, quite regularly as an off-schedule game for my main weekly group. The classes are weird fantasy stuff like being a living hive to order-loving arcane bees. That is weird. Or a stealthy rogue being followed by their own death. Many of the highest level abilities are a sacrifice play, trading a wildly overpowered or fiction-altering power for removing your character. The particular death happened with a player using an archetype most easily described as train-obsessed paladin.
Train?
One of those train hobbyists with the train set up in his basement.
Yeah.
Right?
So he's like a hobo paladin.
Loves model trains.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I don't know. Let's see where this is going. The group was searching for a location because convoluted plot reasons, and ended up moving between husks of abandoned buildings. This is very flavorful writing, by the way. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm in the scene. A consequence from some bad rolls, lack of due diligence, and some poor decision-making had the group crash through several floors into a hostile location with awful odds. Our train-obsessed paladin, sensing the end was nigh, used the following ability. All right, so the ability is called The Last Train.
Oh, all right.
And here's how it reads. You consume your power in a forbidden rite, etching ancient timetables onto the walls in the blood of angels and lighting signal fires in colors not visible to the naked eye. You summon the last train to your position. The last train arrives at your current position by the most direct and destructive route, destroying anything in its path. You are killed when this ability is used, crushed under the wheels of the train, riddled with strange energies, and cooked in your armor or burned out from the occult strain. Holy cow.
Wow. Well, that's...
What's this game again? The GM...
Heart?
Heart? The City Beneath. Okay. Sunday Side concludes with narrating the spontaneous apparition of rolling, chaotic train tracks and describing the utter carnage as my player cackled with in and out of character joy will stick with me forever. The group managed to escape with major losses, and that they did at all was only possible due to the actions described.
That's so weird, but awesome.
Awesome.
I love the description of this ability, The Last Train.
Right.
I mean, it's graphic, but it's just etching timetables on the walls in the blood of angels, lighting signal fires in colors not visible to the naked eye.
Right.
That description alone is awesome.
And then you have this moment where the character concept, the mechanics, and the circumstances like perfectly align.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
This
yeah.
Incredible gaming moment.
Well, it's just, you could see this guy like doing this, whatever he's doing. There's baddies everywhere, right? They're closing in, and you hear this mournful whistle off in the distance, you know, and all of a sudden, just this train comes crashing through the whole scene. Just, to me, it's Thomas the Train Engine, but whatever the case, I mean,
Right.
It's, how exciting, man. I love it.
Sunday Side, thank you.
Bungee Bone, good name, says, in a post-apocalyptic game, I had a character coming off a hard fight with 1 hit point remaining.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, this is my life, yeah. As I stumbled away, looking to sit under a tree and patch myself up, I came upon a puppy. It growled at me. Regardless, I made the mistake of trying to befriend it, thinking it would be cool to have a puppy as a companion.
Yeah.
Think of all the tropes.
Right.
I figured, what harm could a little puppy do? I even offered it food. I tried to pet it, and it bit me. The dice rolls didn't go my way. We had a good laugh. Oh, no. That's funny. I mean, that's just, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Right.
Right. Everybody has to laugh. Yeah. And yeah, I love it. They say we had a good laugh.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's what it is. Now, if this were your beloved character, I don't know if you're going to have a good laugh.
I mean, it depends on the game, but I think you have to be ready for this. Like, just be prepared that don't get too attached to any character in that regard.
I kind of like the dark comedy in that, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, who knows what he fought before.
Sure.
I mean, against impossible odds, he pulls out the win, and then he gets bitten on the hand by a puppy, and it's enough to do him in. That's just funny. So
You got to laugh. All right, one more. This one from Pariah Dog 119. 2 murder hobos joined my game, expecting that murder hoboing would go as it normally does. By the second session, they were running from the law, of course. There was a brief moment of cool where one of them leaped from his horse, tucked and rolled under the falling portcullis just in time to escape his pursuers. The archers on top of the wall proceeded to shoot at him. He ran for it, and they missed every shot. He was in their last range increment when he stopped to moon the archers and took a crit from a level 1 mook. He died in the dirt with his bare ass in the air and an arrow in his back. After this series of bad decisions, they finally made a good decision by quitting my table.
I mean, these guys, I no doubt were murder hobos, but I mean, they had some style. You got to give them that.
Sure.
Rarely have I thought to moon the archers on the tower. So
there you go. Thanks again to Pariah Dog 119. Thanks to everybody over on those subreddits, RPG and TTRPG on Reddit, who weighed in. Thanks for the laughs. Thanks for the stories. Thanks for the memories. Yeah, if a character has to die at the table, the hope is that, at the least, it is memorable.
Yeah. Yeah, whether it's, like we said, heroic death or just funny. You want it to be an event.
And with that, I think we have reached the end of another episode of Thieves Can't. Hey, don't forget, if you want to reach out, find us at Thieves Can't Cast, email thievescan'tcast@gmail.com, and we are going to see you in just a few short days with some Draw Spiel chat. It is the premiere episode of Thieves Can't Capers coming your way.
Yeah, hope you're excited. I know we are.
Have some good gaming this week, and have a good week of life. And we'll catch you next time. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris.
It's been Thieves Can't. So long.
Thank you for listening to Thieves Can't. Email thievescan'tcast@gmail.com.